Hello friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer and I am a hot mess on a mission. And in the month of September, I'm so excited, y'all, because I'm going to be providing food fixes for eating obstacles. Yesterday's eating obstacle was having tremors. Today is dry mouth. First, let's talk about some of the causes of dry mouth. It can be as simple as being dehydrated, being stressed, sleeping with your mouth open. Did you know that? That can cause dry mouth. You ever wake up with really bad breath? That's why. Did you know that like 80% of all medication, even over-the-counter medication, can have dry mouth as a side effect? And as we get older, we naturally begin to produce less saliva. By the time I think you're 65, 30% of the people over 65 have dry mouth, or even having cancer or going through radiation and having your salivary glands damaged in radiation. And sometimes that comes back and sometimes it doesn't. And you just have to decide what your priority is. You know, sometimes you're just going to have to deal with having a dry mouth if the alternative is even worse, okay? So today I want to talk to you about some food solutions for a dry mouth. All right. Now, number one, I'm going to talk about some things that are not food solutions real quick. Number one, xylitol. Have you heard of xylitol? It is a sugar-free sweetener, okay? And I think that is also the one that can be not good for dogs, okay? And it's in a lot of sugar-free chewing gum. And that's why they say chew gum if you have dry mouth. Chew a sugar-free gum. It's because it's the xylitol. Xylitol is what is helping to stimulate your salivary glands, okay? There's a product called Biotene. I'll put links to some of this stuff below. They have sprays. They have like a toothpaste. There's also something called oil pulling, where you take like some coconut oil and you put it in your mouth and you swish it around for 15 minutes. I just imagine myself drooling oil out my mouth after 15 minutes, but a lot of people do it. It can be done. Swish it around in your mouth for like 15 minutes and then spit it out. You don't swallow it because it's got just all the yuckies in there. And I think not only will it kind of refresh your mouth and moisten your mouth, but there are some really good properties in coconut oil that I'm sure will just do wonders for your dental hygiene and just your mouth hygiene in general, okay? So you can do that. Some people say to drink aloe vera juice. I've tried it, not a fan. You can also use the fresh aloe vera from the plant. Like if you've got an aloe vera plant, pull off, you know, cut off some of the aloe vera and that gel inside, put some of that in your mouth. So there are some things that you can do. Some things you want to avoid if you have a dry mouth. Caffeine, here we go again, y'all. It's always the culprit. You want to cut back on your caffeine, and alcohol. Even if you want to use a mouthwash, but use one without alcohol, because the alcohol in a mouthwash can be even more drying and it can make your dry mouth worse, okay? So there are some things to think about. Okay, so now let's talk about some food fixes, because that's what we're all here for, right? Well, today I'm going to do a smoothie because this is a quick go-to, but let me just say this smoothie is also going to work for someone with tremors. And as we go, more of the recipes that I'll be providing during the month will also come back and be good for people with dry mouth. Now, first of all, let me just say, when I started doing my research for this video, wow, there are so many causes of dry mouth, and there are so many implications of having dry mouth. Did you know that dry mouth is actually the leading cause of cavities? It's not what you're eating, it's having a dry mouth. Because your saliva actually remineralizes your teeth. It contains minerals. It contains enzymes that digest your food. It provides that liquidation in your mouth to kind of clean in between your teeth. And so when you don't have any of that, and it affects the pH of your mouth. And so the bacteria in your mouth, you know how your gut can get too many bad bacteria and not enough good bacteria? Same thing can happen in your mouth whenever you're like not producing enough saliva. It's very unpleasant, isn't it? Have you ever had dry mouth? Let me know in the comments below if you have actually at some point in your life had a dry mouth. I know I did. way back in the day, I used to be on Adderall for my ADHD, and I had a horrible dry mouth. If you have dry mouth, it is super important that you're like flossing and brushing at least twice a day, just to kind of maintain what your saliva isn't doing. So talk to your doctor if it's related to medication that is prescribed, to see, you know, if it's one of those things where you want to look into maybe adjusting your medication to help with the dry mouth. But sometimes it's just not an option. You just have to deal with the dry mouth, and that's why I'm here today, because we're going to deal with the dry mouth. Okay, so now let's talk about some of those food fixes. These are things that you can do to make eating more enjoyable, or even more possible. Because if your mouth is too dry, it's even swallowing is going to be difficult, okay? So number one, just in case your dry mouth is caused by dehydration, drink water. Sip on water all through the day. Suck on ice, but do not chew ice, because chewing ice is bad for your teeth, okay? And the foods that you eat, make them easier to eat by adding a sauce or a gravy to them. Some other easier things to eat would be like pudding and Jell-O. And I'm going to be sharing a smoothie recipe with you shortly, because that's one of those things that you can make it super nutrient dense, so it's really good for you, and at the same time it's going to be a lot easier to eat. Today we're going to make a peanut butter and jelly shake, protein shake. So it's technically peanut butter, jelly, and chocolate, but you know, you can't go wrong with that. So here I've got some ice and some strawberries. They were frozen. I'm going to add just a little bit of protein powder. My shake size is small, so I'm only going to use about half a scoop, okay, to get some protein in there. For my sweetness, y'all, I am using just an almost rotten banana. I'm only going to use a little bit of it though, not the whole thing. But that's going to be where my sweetness comes from, because I'm not adding sugar to it, okay? I mean, this is a brown banana, but that's okay. That's going to be super sweet. Just going to shove that down in there. And here are a couple of other things. Number one, y'all know I love my greens. I love my greens. I'm not going to add a full thing of greens. I wish you could smell this. It smells like sweet tea. It has green powder. It's green powder. It has green tea, matcha, broccoli, spinach, kale. It's got all kinds of amazing stuff in here that is really good for you, good for your gut. And actually, you guys, this is from Teamy Blends, and you can get 20% off. If you use MeeMaw20, I'll put a link below, and you can use my discount code MeeMaw20 for 20% off. I believe purchases of $29 and up. And this is Gut Love. It has prebiotics and probiotics, and it's a berry flavor, so it just adds to that berry flavor that I've already got in here. And then I'm going to add some almond butter. Adding my almond butter. I don't have measurements, y'all. But look, okay. That's going to be enough, just because this is a small cup. I think it's like 16 ounce. I have a little bullet now instead of a full-size thing. Okay, so let's get back to talking about food solutions. Instead of roasting vegetables, you're going to want to boil or steam vegetables. When you're eating meats, you don't want a tough, dry meat. You're going to want moist meat, like maybe fishes and chickens, and maybe beef stew, putting the meat in a stew. And I'll put a link. Do y'all see that? What the chicken? I'll put a link somewhere. I've got a recipe for a mock roast, and I use like a chub of ground beef, and I leave it in the shape of the chub, just put it down in my crock pot and cook it. And that has to be one of the most moist ways to cook ground beef, and that would be a fabulous recipe for dry mouth, because it is not dry. It is an incredibly moist way to serve meat. And so things like that, or adding gravies, you're going to want to add moisture Even if you have oatmeal for breakfast, oatmeal can be thick or it can be thin. You may want to have it more on the thin side, just so that it's easier for you to eat. And if it's thicker, you may just want to add a little bit of like heavy cream over the top of it, and then just have some of that cream in the spoon as you eat it. And it will just make it go down easier. Alright, y'all. I may have overfilled. Maybe not. We're going to find out though. It looks full, but I think there's a lot of nooks and crannies in there. Oh, Lord. I'm starting to see a theme. Y'all remember me overfilling them hand pies yesterday? That is just going everywhere, y'all. Right now, I gotta get something. We gotta get something to clean this up and dry it off. Lord have mercy. Okay, and another thing that you might want to have is something like applesauce. Applesauce would be really good to have with dry mouth. And you just want to always make sure that you're staying hydrated. That is super important. Just trying to get, I want to get this cleaned up before I turn it upside down and have all of this stuff run down into my blender. Oh, I haven't even plugged in my blender. Everything's upside down, y'all. Lord have mercy. Okay. And it's still, I can feel it running out. I can still feel it running. I gotta go get more paper towels. Alright, here we go. I'm thinking it might be time for me to break out my smoothie blender again. Alright, let's hope this works, y'all. This is a Ninja. I don't know if it's called. It's not called a Ninja Bullet. Maybe it's called a Ninja. Okay. I love this thing though. Love, love, love. Let's see. It's super duper thick though, y'all. It's gonna be super thick. All right. So let's open it up. Just call me Lucy. Because I make a mess. Oh no, it's not too full. It's not too bad. Alright, and I brought me a straw over here. And so, okay. There's some of that green powder that shot over. So I was saying this would be good for the trimmers. Someone with trimmers as well. Oh, yum. That's good. I'm making a mess, y'all. Still making a mess. Still making a mess. Okay, when will the mess end? I don't know. Never. Alright, now that I've made a mess and instilled great confidence, now I want to give you a list of foods that will be easier to eat whenever you have dry mouth. Number one, juicy fruits like watermelon, grapes, or maybe applesauce, cooked peaches, or maybe a super ripe peach. Some other things, maybe mashed potatoes, but even mashed potatoes. If you ever had dry mashed potatoes, it's a thing. Add gravy, add sauces. You want to add moisture to what you're eating. You can eat things like popsicles, fudgesicles, ice cream, and things like that. Things that are going to have a lot of juice. Number two, if you're going to be eating vegetables, instead of eating them raw or roasted, you may want to steam or boil your vegetables. And if you are going to eat them roasted, cover them with some kind of sauce, maybe a cheese sauce or butter, so that you just have a little more liquid to work with and they're not going to be as drying to your mouth. And then of course, let's not forget about soup. I think that's probably the perfect food. Other than smoothies, a soup is a perfect food for someone with dry mouth. A lot of times soups will have really soft vegetables, really tender meats, and lots of flavor. And that flavor can also help stimulate your salivary glands. Alright guys, so that is it. Let me know if you like this video. If you want to see more videos like this, give it a thumbs up. I'm not sure if I'll be putting a video out this weekend or if I will start back up on Monday and just be doing videos Monday through Friday. But there is so much going on as far as planning for the upcoming videos. I'm so excited. I've got to go shopping today to get some of the things that are going to be in future videos, and I look so forward to that, you guys. I hope you've had a great day, and I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.